Our top story, another shocking death by suicide at IIT Madras, the fourth death of a student at this institution this year alone. The student is from Maharashtra, say the police. What's clear is that there is something dreadfully wrong at the IITs, whether it's pressure on students, their own expectations and aspirations being dented, or something else. The latest death comes days after the IIT Council, that's the apex coordination body of the 23 premier engineering colleges, agreed to discuss mental health and the wellness of students. My colleague Sam Daniel joins us for more on this. Sam, so sad, this particular case, like all of the other earlier ones. What details do we have of what happened this time around?
Vishnu, the police have identified this student to be doing his second year B.Tech chemical engineering. He comes from Maharashtra. No suicide note found, but police believe this could be a case of suicide. Investigation is underway, and this is the fourth such death by suicide on campus if it's confirmed. And IIT Madras has condoled the death of the student, and it says no reason known yet. And it says it continues to reach out to students in several ways to help them tide over stress, and it will continue to do that. In fact, IIT Madras director has told us about how the campus has launched a new website to help students develop a positive attitude, a stress-free atmosphere on campus. They also have a Kushal faculty program to help students develop a positive mind and positive attitude. But experts point out several reasons. One could be, although these students, brilliant, many of them, crack the most difficult joint entrance examination, once they come to the campus, they're unable to really cope with the pressure. Some also face issues of compatibility. They come from underprivileged backgrounds and they have the challenge of getting accepted. Also, complaints or accusations of sometimes caste discrimination on campus. And IIT Madras says they see the main reason for this unhealthy, unfortunate trend to be the lack of socializing, particularly after the pandemic during the lockdown. And they say they're reaching out in several ways to make sure this is checked. Vishnu.
All right, we leave it there. Thanks very much, Sam. Very sad story indeed. The National Investigating Agency is looking into the terror attack in Jammu yesterday, in which 5 army soldiers were killed after their truck was ambushed in a grenade attack. Investigators say that the Lashkar, or an offshoot of the Lashkar-e-Toiba, may be involved and are looking at the possibility of Pakistani nationals carrying out this attack. There are 3 terrorists believed to have been involved.
A massive cordon and search operation by security forces to track down terrorists behind Thursday's attack on the army in Poonch. 5 soldiers were killed in the terrorist attack, and security forces suspect that Lashkar terrorists from Pakistan could be behind the attack.
The attack appears to be well coordinated. The army truck that was targeted and burned during the attack has been hit by multiple bullets from all the sides, indicating that more than 3 militants may have been involved in this attack.
Besides firing steel core bullets, projectiles fired by the terrorists has set the army truck on fire. Security forces have recovered piercing bullets from the attack site. This is the second major incident in the Poonch-Rajouri region in the last 3 months. In January, terrorists targeted Hindu families in Rajouri, killing 7 people and over a dozen were injured. After the attack, Home Minister Amit Shah visited Jammu and set a deadline of 3 months for police and security forces to ensure zero militancy in Jammu. The perpetrators of the Rajouri attack are still at large, but it's unclear if they have any link with the attack on the army. In Jammu, protests were held against the attack on the army, while all parties have condemned the attack. Questions have also been raised over the increase in terror attacks in the region.
These coward Pakistanis targeted an army vehicle. Blood of our brave hearts will not go in vain. Their martyrdom will not go in vain. And all these culprits, these terrorists will be neutralized.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, आपको 370 भी नहीं है, 35 से भी नहीं है, फिर आतंकवाद कहां से आ रहा है?
The attack has come weeks before the G20 working group meeting in Srinagar next month, and Pakistan has objected to the meeting in Srinagar. Last week, Home Minister Amit Shah reviewed the preparation of G20 meeting and asked all agencies to work in a coordinated manner for successful conduct of the event. Even as the NIA is joining the investigations into the attack and senior officers have rushed to the area, the challenge for the security forces is only increasing by the day as the threat of militancy from the valley is shifting to areas in Jammu. With Nazir Masoodi in Jammu and Kashmir, Bureau Report, NDTV.
The latest terror attack in Jammu has meant the death of 5 soldiers of the army. 4 of them were from Punjab, 1 from Odisha. Their families devastated.
हाँ मोटा मोटा उन्होंने बताया कि ऐसे ऐसे करके आईडी ब्लास्ट हुआ है। आईडी ब्लास्ट के कारण गाड़ी को नुकसान हुआ। गाड़ी में कोई पता नहीं क्या कौन सी चीज़ पड़ी थी जिसको आग लगी। आग लगने के कारण 4-5 जवान जो पीछे बैठे थे गाड़ी के वो तो झुलसे गए आग से। लेकिन जो मेरा भतीजा मनदीप सिंह था वो आग से बच गया, वैसे गोली के कारण उसकी डेथ हुई।
तो अभी प्रशासन की तरफ से कोई है आपके पास?
प्रशासन की तरफ से कोई नहीं आया अभी तक।
ମୁଁ ଦେବାଶିଷ ବିଶ୍ୱାଳ ହେଉଛନ୍ତି ଡିଫେନ୍ସରେ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଥିଲି। ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଥିଲି ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ଗର୍ବ ଅନୁଭବ କରିଥିଲି। ମୋ ଗାଁର ଜଣେ ଡିଫେନ୍ସରେ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେ ବହୁତ ସୁନ୍ଦର ସରଳ ସ୍ୱଭାବର ପିଲା ଥିଲା।
ये जो कुलवंत सिंह है ये बहुत ही गरीब परिवार था, ये अकेला ही था। मतलब इनके पहले फादर थे वो भी कारगिल में शहीद हुए थे। हम सरकार से ये अपील करते हैं कि इस परिवार ये गरीब परिवार है इनकी मदद की जाए और सरकार से अपील करते हैं वो जो आतंकवादियों ने इन पर हमला किया है उनके मतलब उनको मार गिराया जाए या कुछ भी किया जाए उनके साथ।
मैंने भी पता था यहाँ है ना रब को बंदा करना मैं इन्हीं जोगी कितने सिक्योरिटी का जिम्मेवार का सकड़ जोगी।
उसका बेटा भी हरकृष्ण सिंह जी फौज च भगया ही उन्हें देश वास्ते जान कुर्बान करती है। पर मेरी भी यह बेनती है कि ਉਹਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਸਹੂਲਤਾਂ ਦੇਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਉਹਦੀ ਬੇਟੀ ਆ
ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਫੌਜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀ, ਮਾਂ ਪਿਓ ਦਾ ਸਹਾਰਾ ਸੀ, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੀ ਪਰਵਰਿਸ਼ ਸੀ ਉਸੇ ਦੇ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਸੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਵੱਧ ਚੜ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਖੜਨ, ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਨ, ਬੱਚੀਆਂ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ।
With the situation in Sudan getting worse, the Prime Minister has chaired a meeting on Indians stuck in the country, which is seeing battles between 2 armed factions in the capital Khartoum. The government of India, which is in talks with several partner nations such as Saudi Arabia, is working on a contingency plan in case Indian citizens need to be evacuated, though there is no clarity on the details of this plan and when or whether it can happen at all. There has been a spike in COVID cases, with the Health Ministry writing now to 8 states. The Union Health Ministry has written a letter of caution to Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, among southern states. They say that the focus needs to be on test, track, treat and then on vaccination. States should ramp up surveillance and genome sequencing as well. Well, like in the past and this time too, all parties in Karnataka have focused on the Lingayat and Vocaliga communities. Lingayats constitute 30% of the BJP's total number of candidates. As a community, the total state's population is 17%. The JDS has the highest number of 22% tickets which have been given to the Vocaliga community, keeping in mind their core voter base. The Congress, for its part, has been trying to strike a balance between all communities in ticket distribution. The party has given 23% of its tickets to Lingayats, 20% to Vocaliga community candidates. My colleague Veera Raghav joins us now for more on this. So, Veera Raghav, any other details on how seats have actually been given? For example, to minorities, where does the BJP stand? Where does the Congress stand?
The BJP, like in 2018, hasn't fielded any minority candidate. The Congress has about 15 minority candidates. I think we'll have to check that list again on that bit. But otherwise, you've got the larger caste representation that one talks about 68.
Sorry, we seem to have lost that line with Veera Raghav. I'm just going to go through these details, what he was talking about. In terms of Lingayat candidates, you can see the total number, and this has been the core group that the BJP has always tried to reach out to. The Lingayats group, 24 seats being granted by the BJP. The Congress also making its pitch to the Lingayat community. A total number of 18 seats to other communities for the Congress, 24 to other communities over there, all within the Lingayat framework. So other key factors at play. The BJP has changed its sitting MLAs to fight anti-incumbency. This has been a strategy which has only partly worked for the BJP. As we've seen, they've lost some of their leaders to the Congress. The Congress, for its part, has fielded almost all sitting MLAs who came second in 2018. So the Congress sticking to those who are tried and tested. The BJP has been trying to bring about a change. Sometimes that's not worked very well. The CBI has summoned the former Jammu and Kashmir Governor Satya Malik for questioning in the Reliance insurance scam case on the 28th of April. Mr. Malik, in an interview, recently claimed that security lapses led to the Pulwama attack in which 40 CRPF personnel were killed. He's also claimed that a request by the paramilitary police asking for aircraft to commute soldiers or to transport soldiers within the valley was denied by the government, which in turn led to Jawans travelling by road where they were targeted. We'll go across to Arvind Gunasekara. Firstly, Arvind, the scam or the alleged scam itself, what exactly is that all about?
Vishnu, the Central Bureau of Investigation last year, exactly on 21 April 2022, exactly last year, registered a case on the complaint of the Jammu Kashmir administration over alleged irregularities in the group health insurance policy. So this particular case pertains to the year of 2018, and that's where the Jammu Kashmir administration went for a company, went for a project or a kind of a contract to loop in a company for the group employees health insurance scheme, and that's where Reliance General Insurance Limited along with Trinity Reinsurance Broker Limited, both these companies were selected for this particular insurance policy scheme, and then Trinity in turn gave that contract to Reliance General Insurance Limited, and that's where several irregularities were raised in this particular project. One, even before the project was formally given to the Reliance General Insurance Limited, the full payment for the first premium was already given by the Jammu Kashmir administration to the company. That's the first allegation. The second allegation was that even after the project or the scheme was scrapped, the company was allowed to continue with this policy for almost one full quarter. So these two were the prima facie allegation based on which the Central Bureau of Investigation registered a complaint. But very importantly, then Governor of Jammu and Kashmir Satya Malik also raised an allegation saying that in order to clear this particular file along with one more project, hydroelectric project in Jammu and Kashmir, he was allegedly given a bribe. He was allegedly proposed a bribe of almost 300 crore, and that's why, because Satyapal Malik was the then governor of this particular, was the governor of Jammu and Kashmir at that particular point of time, and because he was the governor at that particular point of time, the agency could not record a statement. Now after he stepped down as a governor, now the agency has called him to record a statement as a complainant in this particular case.
And of course questions would be asked by some about how this questioning in this particular case comes just days after that controversial interview that Mr. Malik had given. But thanks very much for joining us with those details. Stay on for a moment because we've got news that we want to talk to you about. Arvind, the Supreme Court has granted bail to 8 convicts in the 2002 Godhra train burning case. What are some of the details that you have on this case? The bail application of the four convicts was turned down, but this was a bench headed by the Chief Justice, right? So on what grounds was bail granted?
Vishnu, in the Godhra train burning case, the trial court had convicted almost 31 accused, of which 11 were given death sentence and 20 were given life imprisonment. So, challenging the order of the trial court, all the 31 convicts moved the Gujarat High Court, and the Gujarat High Court commuted the death sentence of the 11 convicts, and all 31 were sentenced to life. So, challenging that particular Gujarat High Court order also, all the 31 convicts moved the Supreme Court, and the appeal challenging the conviction is pending before the Supreme Court since 2018. And this is not the first time Supreme Court is granting bail to convicts in the Godhra train burning case. Last year also 2 of the convicts have been granted bail by the Supreme Court. Today, when 12 of the convicts moved Supreme Court seeking for bail, the Supreme Court granted bail to 8 of the convicts who were originally awarded the life sentence by the trial court, and 4 of the convicts who were originally awarded the death sentence have been denied bail by the Supreme Court. The bail has been granted on 2 important grounds. One, all these convicts have been in jail for almost over 17 years. That's the first ground. And second ground, because the appeal that has been pending before the Supreme Court that was filed in 2018 will take some more time for the Supreme Court to hear this matter, and that's why Supreme Court taking that into cognizance, the Supreme Court has granted bail to 8 of the convicts, but the Supreme Court also rejected the bail plea of 4 of the convicts who were originally awarded the death sentence by the trial court.
Okay, we leave it there. Thanks very much, Arvind, for sharing those details. The suicide of a 38-year-old tea vendor in Rajasthan, Ram Prasad Meena in Jaipur, has become a political flashpoint. The BJP has been attacking the government ever since a video surfaced which blamed a Congress minister, Mahesh Joshi, for the suicide. But there's been infighting within the state Congress as well, with Sachin Pilot, who's been at odds with Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot for years now, but perhaps more now than ever before, has ended up visiting the Dharna site, sitting with the BJP MP Kirori Lal Meena.
कैबिनेट मंत्री महेश जोशी जी, इन्होंने हमारे परिवार को इतना परेशान कर रखा है कि आज मैं आत्महत्या करने जा रहा हूं.
Ram Prasad Meena's last message has now become a political flashpoint in Rajasthan, especially since he accuses senior cabinet minister Mahesh Joshi of harassing him and his family. Ram Prasad, the tea vendor, was in a land dispute over his house in the walled city of Jaipur. He claimed the land mafia wanted his land for a parking lot for an adjoining hotel.
दीदी बड़ी हो रही थी, बहनें वगैरह सारी, तो हमने कहीं से पैसे करा के छत डलाने की कोशिश करी. हमें स्टार्टिंग से रोका नहीं गया, लेकिन जैसे हमारे पिलर खड़े हुए, ऊपर की टीनें हटी तो हमारा काम रोक दिया गया. हमारे घर के बाहर पुलिस वाले बिठा दिए. मेरे दादा चाचा हर जगह जा रहे, कहीं नगर निगम पे, कहीं पार्षदों के पास गए, पर भी कुछ ही नहीं हुआ. सारी जगह एक ही बात बोलते थे कि बोले ऊपर से प्रेशर है, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. फिर वो महेश जोशी के पास गए, मेरे पापा ये सारे, तो महेश जोशी के वहाँ जाके मेरी दादी उनके पाँव में गिरी तो उनको धक्का दे दिया गया. वो देख के उन्हें और सब वो हुआ, दुख हुआ. उसके बाद वो घर आए, वो बोले अपन कभी नहीं जीत सकते, ये बहुत बड़े लोग हैं.
Ram Prasad also appealed to Rajya Sabha BJP MP Kirori Lal Meena to ensure his family got justice. And the MP has been on a dharna for the past 5 days and causing much embarrassment to the Congress. Now Sachin Pilot too joined this dharna.
इस पूरे प्रकरण में एक बहुत ही निष्पक्ष और एक समय सीमा बांधने के बाद एक जांच होनी चाहिए.
मांग इतनी सी थी कि मुख्यमंत्री जी आप इनसे मिल लो. 10 दिन तक बैठी रही, मुख्यमंत्री जी नहीं मिले. उनकी चोटी साड़ी खींच खांच के मेरी भी गर्दन तोड़ ताड़ के हमको भगा दिया. लोकतंत्र में ये नहीं होना चाहिए. तो मेरी मुख्यमंत्री जी से अब भी यही मांग है कि आप वहाँ जुनैद और नासिर से मिलने जा सकते हैं. यहाँ 5 दिन से एक शव पड़ा है, यहाँ भी आके थोड़ा परिवार वालों को सांत्वना दे दो ना. भाई राजनीतिक तो जब होता मैं को बीजेपी का झंडा लगाता, बीजेपी के जयकारे लगाता, नारे लगवाता, मेरे लगवाता. मैं तो कोई दीनहीन दुखी कोई भी आए उसके साथ खड़ा हो जाता हूँ. इसमें कोई राजनीति नहीं है.
The police has registered a case of abetment for suicide against Cabinet Minister Mahesh Joshi. But the suicide of Ram Prasad Meena is becoming a political hot potato for the Gehlot government. In Jaipur, with camera person Virendra Singh Shekhawat, Harsha Kumari Singh for NDTV.
The United Nations Climate Status Report for 2022 is out, and it's got some startling details. 15,700 deaths in Europe have now been linked directly to heat waves. In the last 8 years, the global mean temperatures have been the highest on record. In March and April, heat waves in India caused a fall in crop yield. In terms of deaths, 700 in India died because of flooding and landslides, 900 due to lightning in 2022 alone. 9% of Pakistan was flooded in 2022, massive floods, and there was $30 billion in terms of losses. China's had its longest and most extensive heat wave on record. And perhaps the biggest concern of it all, Antarctic sea ice has been at its lowest level on record, with a record rise in seawater levels. That is all terrible news. Meanwhile, India's heatwave crisis continues at an unprecedented level. The rise in temperatures in the northeast is a big concern now. What is the solution, if any, beyond shutting schools?
It's just mid-April and India's northeast is experiencing an unprecedented rise in temperatures. Last year, it was the Himalayan states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand in the grip of heat waves.
Finally, there is some respite from the scorching sun in Guwahati due to light rains, but in many parts of northeast, like the Garo Hills in Meghalaya and the border town of Moreh in Manipur, temperatures have been almost close to all-time high.
Manipur recorded this year's maximum high so far as Tengnopal district crossed 40 degrees Celsius on April 13th last week according to state data. Almost 5 degrees higher than usual for this period.
It's not normal because the heat is very scorching and intense heat becomes very difficult to bear in Moreh. So kindly the government should look into this matter.
We are probably beyond the tipping point, means we are probably going into that irreversible stage. Our water modeling data shows that by 2030, Northeast is going to have a lot more warmer days. So for example, Arunachal is going to see a lot more drier winter, a lot more landslide. And in March, April, May, which is we call it the summertime, according to IMD, parts of Arunachal is going to see extreme heat waves.
We are trying now to focus on what should government do to address this heat wave that is suddenly enveloping several parts of our state.
In Meghalaya, the government is looking at solutions beyond shutting schools in 4 districts in the hills that are getting warmer.
Climate and the environment is not avoidable. So this is going to impact and affect most of us in the days to come. Look, the first is not only about heat wave. We are going to face a water crisis very, very soon. So look, the forest cover is going down.
From Himachal and Uttarakhand in the western Himalayas to the northeast within a year, this fast shift of heat wave hotspots should now be a larger concern. With Ratnadeep Chaudhary, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.